It's becoming that time where in the off season, Nike signed a new deal to do the jerseys in the MLB, and we're seeing a lot of teams start to come out with what their jerseys are going to look like in 2020. What's going on, guys? Gomes here, back again on another video. Today we're going to be looking at, and I'm going to be reacting to, all of the new jerseys that have been officially revealed for the 2020 season. I think the number is still only at about 7, the Rangers being the most recent one to reveal their jerseys, and that was just, like 10-20 minutes ago. So that's going to be a fresh reaction. All the other teams have had a little bit of time to digest and fully accumulate my thoughts and what I think about them, but the overall consensus, they're pretty damn good. As always, make sure to leave a like down below on this video if you guys are enjoying it. I really want to start doing more real life MLB content talking about baseball. Free agency is peaking right now. Zach Wheeler just signed a deal. So if you guys would like me to talk more about the MLB, I would be glad to do it. Just let me know. So let's go ahead and talk about the one that I'm just going to admit right now is my favorite. I'm kind of putting a little spoiler alert. It is the Minnesota Twins. They are my hometown. I was born in Minnesota and I still currently reside in Minnesota. Is that a little bit of a bias? Maybe. But you cannot deny these jerseys are so clean. These Minnesota Twins uniforms, these are inspired by the old retro look that they had around the 1980s, 1970s. That was when we saw guys like Rod Carew wearing them. And the interesting thing about it is also going to extend down to their pants as well. So the jersey and pants are all going to be that nice, crisp looking powder blue. And then the Twins red word mark coming across the chest. It's just such a clean look. It looks so nice, and I was a person who liked the, 2019 and, recent Twins uniforms. I thought they looked pretty well, but I'm really glad that these are coming back. They're going to be an alternate. The Twins aren't going to wear just, for a special occasion. They're going to be wearing them quite a lot, which I'm really happy about, and I think it's a great look for the Minnesota Twins. Of course, I would really like to see a big brand new free agent debut in the Twins uniform, but if you guys know anything about that organization like I do, they never really go out and make a splash in free agency. They signed Nelson Cruz in the offseason last year, which was obviously a big pickup, but I'm really not expecting them to make a whole lot of moves. But, they have a good team. I have a strong sense, a strong feeling that they're going to be back in the postseason in 2020. Speaking of teams going back to a former look, we have the San Diego Padres going back to that brown and yellow, which I think is much more traditional with their franchise. I really never got a good vibe with their jerseys, like the dark navy blue and white. I just don't think it really ever fit the Padres. If you think of Tony Gwynn and guys like that, I never really got that same feeling. But they're back to it, and these jerseys are looking so fire, especially the home jerseys. They have the pinstripes, and then they have the word mark in the brown and yellow. It just looks so good. I really am a huge fan of the Padres uniforms, and this could not come at a better time. You have Fernando Tatis Jr., who, in my opinion, might be my favorite player to watch. He's one of the many young stars we have in the game today. Manny Machado didn't have an exceptional year last year, but he was still good, and of course, he's going to be there for quite some time. Rumors that they could go after a guy like Steven Strasburg. It should be a fun year for the Padres in 2020. And then there are other jerseys as well. The road ones coming in that a bit different gray. It's a bit different hue than usual teams' gray road uniforms would be. Also features the pinstripes. Really like the look of that. The only thing I will note is that the brown jerseys, the brown colorway, they don't have the brown pants like they did back in the day, like when Tony Gwynn was playing with them, which in my opinion is a good thing. Nothing changes with the logo. It is still going to be the same, but it is now yellow, and I do like the look of that. Once again, I just think it mixes really well with the hats and the uniforms. I think it's a great look. Padres Twins really winning so far with their new jerseys. If you haven't noticed the theme, there's a lot of teams going back to old looks, donning old uniforms with new twist on them, and the Milwaukee Brewers are doing the same thing. Most significantly, they are going back to having the mitt with the ball in the center as their primary logo for 2020 and so on. I really like that logo. I was never a big fan of the M that they had. I don't think it really fit them all that well, so I'm glad they're going back to, in my opinion, one of the best logos in baseball history. And their jerseys are much improved. I did make a video earlier this year talking about my opinion on every team's home uniform, and the Brewers were pretty much last. I thought they were bland. I don't think they looked all that well. They had that wheat color in there. Now they're going for a more pronounced yellow as they did previously, and it looks so much better. In particular, I really am a big fan of the two white ones that they have introduced. There's going to be one version with pinstripes and one without. I don't really have too much of a preference. I think they both look really good, really clean, and once again, they trade out that old wheat gold beer colored yellow in exchange for a more pronounced yellow. The road variation looks good as well, a classic standard gray that you would see on pretty much any MLB road uniform, and then also once again the same Milwaukee word mark coming across the chest. I do want to mention there's one jersey in the set I'm not a big fan of, and that is going to be their navy colored ones. It doesn't look bad. The only thing that I don't like is it looks a bit too much like a college uniform or a minor league uniform. I don't really know what it is. It kind of looks like the Montgomery Biscuits in a way, which is one of the Rays farm affiliate teams. I just don't really like it that much. It's not bad, but whenever I see it, it always reminds me of college or minor league teams. Nonetheless, huge improvement as far as the uniforms go for the Milwaukee Brewers. As far as free agency goes, they lost out on Moustakas. Not really too sure if they're going to make a move, but when you got Yelich, you always got a chance. Another team making moves is the Arizona Diamondbacks. They just recently got new jerseys back in, I think it was about 2016, where they introduced the teal color more, and it's not bad, but it's not good. Their primary home and away uniforms are going to look a lot like they did at the beginning of the decade, but then the 2010s, back when they had guys like Justin Upton there. So there's not really going to be teal on there anymore, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a good look. I think it really represents the desert, and I think it's a lot better than they had previously. And then they showcased 4 other alternate jerseys, one that's going to be more red top, kind of like they had back in 2010 as well, with just a hint of teal accenting. There's going to be a black one, once again a jersey very reminiscent of what they had towards the beginning of the 2010s, with just the A of the Arizona on the chest. This one right here does feature a little bit more teal. It's going to be on the numbering, which I don't mind. I do like the teal within the colors. I do like that look. It's just how they went about it previously was not very good. In particular, I want to throw up this jersey, which made me throw up. That really putrid dark gray jersey that they wore from 2016 to now, it looked horrible. I could not stand this jersey. I know some people liked it. I really did not. You know, it went against pretty much everything that we would usually expect from a road uniform. It was almost like a charcoal color. It was awful. And they've got one more jersey. It's going to be black, featuring the Los D-backs coming across the chest, which I'm a really big fan of. There is a little bit of teal accenting, which is good because it puts some color in the otherwise pretty bland and pretty dark jersey top that they're going to have. I'm always a big fan of whenever sports teams have Los in their jerseys. You know, it's respecting Hispanic heritage. I know the NBA has done that in the past, and I think it's a good look. The Diamondbacks jerseys are a much improvement in my opinion. Ever since the reveal of their new jerseys, I always thought they're good, but I like the ones that they had better previously. And as far as the Diamondbacks go, I think they have a pretty nice future. Ketel Marte broke out top 5 MVP candidate within the National League out of nowhere, and they really surpassed expectations, so I'm definitely excited to see what they bring to the table in 2020. The reigning champion Washington Nationals making some minor adjustments to their uniforms, nothing too significant, just minor different details. I'll throw a comparison between 2019 and their new one in 2020 up, but as you can see, they're not a whole lot different. The big adjustment to their look in 2020 not only is going to be whatever happens with Steven Strasburg and Anthony Rendon, but they do have 2 brand new alternate logos that they're going to sport on their caps. One is going to be the nation's capital, featuring the Washington W in the middle of it. It's different. I don't really know entirely how I feel about this one. This is one that I saw while I was researching for this video this morning, and I think it still has to grow on me a little bit, but it's unique. The other one is going to once again feature the Washington logo. This time, however, it is in the background, and we have a player, a figure at the foreground. So both of these 2 new alternate logos are definitely unique. They are a lot different from what I, and probably you as well, are used to as far as seeing the Washington Nationals, but yeah, we're gonna have to grow on them. The Cincinnati Reds. This is an interesting one. If you watched my original video talking about the new Nike jerseys, I showcased the Reds in particular because they were really the only one that had leaked at that point, and they really showed the Nike swoosh in a not great manner. Basically, the swoosh was too large and too close to the actual word mark running across the chest, where it looked like the Nike branding was actually part of the logo. Needless to say, is obviously not a great look, but it seems as if those were not finished because the ones on the MLB shop currently feature that same word mark running across the chest. However, the swoosh is much less pronounced. It's more upper on the chest and it is smaller, so I like these a lot more than I first thought. That's really all we saw as far as the Cincinnati Reds. I like the change. It's not a big catastrophic change like we've seen in some of the other ones. The Nationals and the Reds changed a bit, but not a whole lot. I don't really know what to expect from the Reds in 2020. Of course, they stole Moustakas from their in-division rival, the Milwaukee Brewers. You have Aristides Aquino, who really broke out for a bit, but kind of slumped towards the end. Luis Castillo looks to be one of the best pitchers that we have in all of baseball, and Joey Votto's a fossil at this point. And finally, for these last ones that we have seen so far, we have the Texas Rangers. Like I said, I'm looking at this live, so if I'm not looking at you, I'm looking at these jerseys. The first jersey we're going to be looking at is their standard home, which looks a bit different. It looks like they have a different font on the word mark running across the chest. This time it is going to have blue lettering with red and white accents to it. I like it. Nothing too crazy, but it's not bad. Let's point out the obvious. Joey Gallo is sporting the throwback Rangers, coming back in that powder blue. It seems every team in 2020 is going to be wearing powder blue at some point. You have the Rays, the Twins, the Royals, the Rangers. Every team is going to be sporting some sort of powder blue. And this, once again, is going to be full uniform. All from head to toes is going to be decked out in powder blue. And then the same font running across the chest, this time in white lettering with red accents. I like the jersey. I like the hat as well. You know, it seems like at this point it might be a bit overkill with the powder blue because so many teams are going to be sporting it. But of course, the Rangers, this is in their history. Think about Nolan Ryan. This is what I think of when I see this jersey, and I like it a lot. I know there's too many, but powder blue, it's just too nice. Otherwise, we have the road, the red, and the navy blue that Shin-Soo Choo is wearing on the far right, which I think those are all pretty much copy and paste from last year, just adding the Nike swoosh. The one on the end looks a bit different. That is going to have the Texas, you know, the state logo, and it's going to have the Texas Rangers T in the middle of it. So I'm not a huge fan of that. I think it's just because a lot of times I don't like logos in jerseys that are only one side of the chest. It just looks weird, and the other half of the jersey just looks so barren. It's not bad, but it's nothing too great. Overall, I think this is a nice, fresh new look for the Texas Rangers. Of course, they are moving their stadium, and they also revealed dimensions, and I got to see my first look at it in pictures today, and I think it's a good change. You know, the Rangers are kind of on the come up. You saw Mike Minor and Lance Lynn really break out of nowhere for them this year. Joey Gallo looked better than ever. The Rangers are going to be an interesting team to watch in 2020. And that's going to be it for this video. Like I said, 7 brand new uniforms revealed so far officially for 2020 with the new Nike sponsorship. I do want to point out, because I'm sure people are going to mention it, but Gomes, I thought you hated the new Nike jerseys. That was mainly just talking about the swoosh. I still don't like the fact that it's there, but with all these new creative concepts on how the jerseys are going to look, I don't really care. You know, I would definitely trade having the swoosh on there for brand new looking jerseys such as the Twins, the Padres, the Brewers, the Diamondbacks. They look a whole lot better. I could give a damn about a swoosh at this point. Let me know down below in the comment section which of these 7 brand new jerseys are your favorite. Which team do you think did it best? And let me know if there's any new jerseys that you're thinking about buying. I think they are available on MLB Shop, so you can go ahead and cop them right now. But once again, if you guys enjoyed this video, want to see more real life MLB content, make sure to leave a like down below. Hope you guys are great today. There goes Saudi. Yay!